Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Widgets and Wonders. This is my weekly show about great products from small companies. Now today we're going to take a look at some terrain, MDF terrain, by a company called Dredd Designs. They were formerly known as Brush4Hire Studios, and they've expanded into the world of miniature scenery in MDF in the last couple of years. And they've now full-blown sort of like rebranded themselves as a terrain manufacturer. They just ran a very successful crowdfund for some really cool new terrain. And today they're going to be basically showing you guys in city, which is some glossy sci-fi terrain, perfect for a variety of glossy sci-fi games, things like Dredd. You could play Infinity, you could play, even like if you want to paint this a certain way, like Necromunda. But if you're in a high sort of like industrial environment and you want to find some terrain that looks like stacked hab modules like Mega City 1, or sort of like a prefabbed set of shipping containers and stuff like that, this is sort of the thing for you. Now, Austin went a little above and beyond what he sent us. He said, I see you make Infinity videos. I'd like to send you some terrain to check out. And then a box of wood showed up outside my house that weighed almost 20 pounds. And this was a big project. So Owen and I put all this together, and there was no way I was gonna be able to paint all this myself. So I recruited Adam from Greenleaf Terrain to do the painting. So this is kind of a double whammy. It's mostly about other designs, but if you need painting done and scenery made, Adam from Greenleaf is a super awesome guy. So consider this also a shout out to him and his awesome painting service when you see this stuff all finished up. So that is caveat emptor. I did not paint this myself. You're gonna see why in a second, because it's just a huge amount of terrain. And actually, one of the cool things is you get a huge amount of terrain in the packs. So the shipping containers, for instance, come in a pack of 16. And I'll point out some cool features as to why that is when you see the terrain itself. So without any further ado, let's take a look at In City from Dredd Designs. So here we have In City from Dredd Designs. Now, yes, Austin went a little bit crazy. And he said to me one day, I watch Infinity videos, I think they're super cool. I like to send you some terrain. And then about 3 weeks later, like 25 pounds of MDF showed up on my doorstep and I didn't know what to do. So you guys have probably, if you watched one on the painting table, you watched as me and Owen basically showed you what an entire night building MDF scenery looks like, which was this stuff all unpainted. And then, because I'm a stay-at-home dad and painting terrain is actually the thing I have to be at the studio for, like I can't take it home to do it because it's all airbrushing and big stroke stuff. I was really struggling to get it done. Like, it was so much of it and it was super duper like easy to do, but it's just trying to find the time in studio when I'm not recording games to do it was just killing me. So this is gonna be kind of a double whammy. It's mostly a shout out to my boy Adam at Greenleaf Terrain. He came by the other day just to hang out and I was like, hey, how busy are you? And he's like, well, I just got crushed by this giant Gorka Morka thing I was doing for mini wargaming, but I got some time. And I was like, could you paint a whole bunch of MDF terrain? And as I'm shooting this, that was 3 days ago. Like, he literally came back 3 days later and was like, it's done. So crazy amounts of like respect and love for that guy, because he helped us out a ton by taking a like quick turnaround commission and just getting all this stuff painted. So there's actually basically 4 main products here. There are single habs. So the in-city single habs are these guys right here, and they all slot together, you'll see, so that you can stack them. Right, so this is a hab. It's got ladders on the sides, you can get up top of it, and they all fit together so that you can stack them in 2s and 1s. There's double habs, which are these guys right here, and they're the bigger hab units. And what they look like is like prefabricated living structures. You can see they have windows and doors. They all, for the most part, have ladders on them. They're all enclosed, they don't open, but they allow you to block up what looks like sort of the poor part of town in Infinity really fast. And those are 2 of them. There's the gantries and stairwells, which really, I think, it's like the rug and Big Lebowski ties the room together. They make the table really interesting because they add all your levels in lots of ways up and down. And they all are designed basically to sit against any of the habs, be they single or double habs, to give you some second levels and stuff. There is the street furniture, which is the last one, and that's things like these little planters. Now I went and bought, they don't come with the aquarium plants. I went and bought some aquarium plants to stick in there because I really love a bit of green on a gaming table. Like, I think especially these like glossy sci-fi, futuristic looking tables, they need a bit of greenery. Because regardless of what city you live in, there's green everywhere. Like, it doesn't matter how dense an urban jungle is, there's gonna be some plants and some trees somewhere. You're gonna see some greenery. So having bits and pieces of it, I think, is super important. And then there's the fences and laser fences. Now the standard fences are these guys. They're literally just barriers you can stick anywhere, so you can stick them on habs and stuff just to give it like a railing. It's not just all flat on top. And the laser fences, which are the same thing, but with a center bit, which is acrylic. So it's like a fence you can see through. Just looks a little more sci-fi. And then finally there's the containers. So the habs, the ledges and gantries, the laser fences and fences, and the containers. I think I said you get 16 of them in a box. It might have been 8, actually, now that I think about it. But the reason you get so many is, and this is just genius, they're MDF frames, and the interior is a cardboard box. So you can pack a ton of these crates into one set, and it's cheaper to ship, obviously, because it's gonna be lighter. It's not as much MDF to actually glue and put together, and they assemble really, really fast. They take spray paint, like they primed up just fine, and they are nice and robust, and because they're all framed out with MDF, there's no corners to wear on the card at all. I think the only exposed edge is this one right here, and it's on the bottom. Like, it's not gonna get a lot of like wear and tear handling it, because you're gonna pick it up at the top all the time, and that's all MDF. So really clever design, and just super like smart looking. And I think the greatest part of all this is I gave Adam a basic like rundown of the color scheme. I actually just gave him all the rattle cans of spray paint I'd bought to prime everything. And then he did the rest of the airbrushing and battle damage and stuff. But through just clever color schemes, so picking 2 different tones for all the habs, picking a bunch of different tones for the containers, and having it all contrast nicely, this looks like a lot of different kinds of terrain, and the table ends up looking a lot more varied than you would think it would with just 3 or 4 different designs of stuff on it. So I'm really excited to play on it. The goal here was sort of a rundown, poor part of town sci-fi look. And of course, the point of that is I can not just play Infinity on it, I could play Judge Dredd on it, I could play This Is Not a Test on it, I could play really anything I want on it, and just kind of have it be appropriate looking for a sci-fi setting. It has almost like a Borderlands feel to it now that I think about it. What it really needs now is some signs and a little bit of things to throw some more character into it. Now, what this is going to get used for, you will see this in lots of battle reports, but this is going to be our on-hand travel scenery for both the Infinity tournaments that I run as a War Corps. So Lords of War weekends, you guys will be able to play in this terrain. You'll be able to play on this terrain if you come and play in a Infinity Battle Report with me or Owen here. And what that's going to mean is the Studio Infinity terrain is going to get less wear and tear on it. And this new set of terrain is going to have a sort of like a travel container, so that there's a table's worth in one tote, and we can just pick up and go and take them. So if you play in the Black Knight Games tournaments at all, or any of the Lords of War weekends, Lords of War tournaments for Infinity that I run, you will be able to play on these tables. So I hope you enjoyed this look at both the Death Ray Designs awesome in-city terrain, and also some really great paint jobs by my boy Adam at Greenleaf Terrain. And there it is, another look at a great product from a small company, and that was Death Ray Designs, and of course commission painting services from Adam at Greenleaf Terrain. So big thanks to Austin for sending through this great selection of terrain. Owen and I are super excited to use it. It's gonna look fantastic in all the tournaments and events we run, and fantastic on the table. So if you know of a great product from a small company, you can have them message me at guerrillaminiaturegames@gmail.com, or through my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/outofthebasement-into-the-streets, and we will do our best to bring them in front of as many people as possible. So it's a really cool thing to make something and put out there in the world for people to see, and I think that deserves all the support it gets. We'll see you next week for another Widgets Wonders. Until then, I'm Ash. Have a great day.